Overview. It's draft weeks, gang. Good work on the sources. We did better than usual. Drafts are due by 10 p.m. Tuesday the 31st. Great work on the coronavirus questions, people. I sent your coronavirus digest links to the new dean of the college, Laura Arizio, and she was so impressed she asked to share them. Well done, people. Senior people at Fordham are reading your thoughtful and constructive contributions. Keep up the good work. It's not just old Big Hair benefiting from your acute and well-written observations. Okay, so I want to be sure everyone in the class is seeing this video every week. I've had to think about it and I've come up with a way of doing it. At some point in the course of each week's video, my daughter Ellie here will appear and give you a clue about where to find the link to this week's video acknowledgement form.
Ha ha ha! You will never find it without me and my littlest sister!
This week, number 1, the draft. You know what I'm looking for, people. A quote from the book, citations from 2 of the starred sources on the project page. So that's the eggs and butter. After that, you'll need 3 of your own secret ingredients that you ordered out from expensive delicatessen. Think about peppers, not too hot, sun-dried tomatoes, and exactly the right cheese. Remember to Lysol the packaging before you open it. Don't forget my graphics. The writing is the telling, so think about what you want to show. And lastly, use lots of paragraphs and give me my sections. Number 2, community. Now then, by now, each of you should have had an email from your newsgroup manager. Please respond promptly. You guys have got to figure out how to get together every week to share ideas. In particular, you've got to get ready to figure out the who does what part for the final. This is a real-time exercise, gang. We're likely to have to undergo further rounds of self-distancing before the pandemic is over. This is an important problem for you to get experience of. It's called cooperating in distributed groups. Get this sorted, gang. Keep in touch with people. I don't care how the manager sorts it out. Zoom, Google Hangouts, FaceTime, Skype, group chat on the iPhone. It's up to you. I want you to have a means to communicate with one another synchronously. Where that isn't possible because of time zone constraints, or it isn't convenient, such as when COVID is in the family, provision must be made by the managers for members to contribute via email. In the meantime, in terms of getting in touch with me, you know where the inquiry form is. I've been doing a lot more email since Fordham closed, and I've been replying later the same day rather than later in the week. I'm toying with the idea of opening up office hours on Skype in the exact same hours I used for office hours in the cafeteria at Fordham. Tuesday and Friday 12 to 12:45 and Wednesdays 4 to 5:45. If you feel the need to chat and you can do so in those slots, send me an email and we'll make an appointment. If not now, office hours over Skype might come in useful for some of you later. Keep it in mind. Number 3, the big tip this week. Okay, big tip, pay attention. This is a great idea. My Introduction to International Studies class in the fall. Those of you who can use the class for the globalism requirement in the course should go out of your way to register for it. Introduction to International Studies, Monday, Thursday, 2:30 to 3:45. That way, if a second round of social distancing is necessary in November, and remember we're unlikely to have a vaccine by then, you will know what you're doing and why again. Unfortunately, the other 2 classes I'm teaching are IS Senior Thesis Seminars, and you're only eligible for them if you have to take the IS Senior Seminar. If you know anyone in that situation, tell them to get into one of my 2 seminar classes and onto the life raft, or they're dead meat in the water when the sharks arrive. Also, next spring 2021, I look into my crystal ball and I see a possible 3rd period of social distancing might be necessary before we have the vaccine. In the spring, you get a choice of Introduction to Politics, New York City Politics, and Democracy, Terrorism, and Modern Life. The only thing you have to remember about coming back is it'll be your turn to manage a news group. I need people who know what they're doing and why. Don't forget webteaching.org. Don't forget your favorite dessert, the type of ice cream. And don't forget the tea and biscuits when you're reading the forum digests. It's okay to have cheese with the biscuits, but be picky about the cheese. Intro class, project page 2. Okay, you guys, you get a choice. Either something arising from Isenberg and campaigns or something arising from Kagan and the Liberal International Order. It's entirely up to you. The news groups are not involved in project page 2. I realise some of you are going to want to write about the virus and how it's going to change the world, and it is. American politics won't be the same once this is all over. America's place in the world is unlikely to be the same either. Sooner or later, or is it sooner than later, we're going to get a new president. But for the time being, I'm hoping you'll stick to campaigns as we knew them and the Liberal International Order as we knew it, and hopefully they will come back and what you write will still have meaning. I know, it's a little weird to be writing about the recent past as if it's ancient history already. The forum. Great work, gang. You did me proud on iCorona and the online learning question. Don't forget to read the digests. I divided the remaining forum questions into P questions or pandemic questions and O questions or other questions. For the P questions, I've been able to pick all the postings so far because you have been very good at looking back at what everyone has already offered and giving me something different. Keep up the good work. I've closed the P1 iCorona question, but you still have the P2 question on online learning and the P3 question on what I missed the most to contribute to. The remaining other questions are on Kagan, with of the Liberal Order, and the state capacity question on the coronavirus. I closed the questions on digital campaigning and Super Tuesday, and I've replaced them with a new question at the very bottom of the page on revised tickets. Go take a look. Your main job this week is to focus on your draft. If you can add to the P2 or P3 questions, that's fine. I'm hoping we can pick up with the other questions arising from Isenberg and Kagan after project page 2 is behind us. Last point. If you haven't got the Smith-Simon book, you should order it or download it now. If ever there was a book written to be read in a pandemic, it's Smith-Simon. It's a visionary look into the future, which suddenly seems a lot more like the one Smith-Simon is talking about than it did before. You'll read this book for the first time and it won't seem so much like science fiction anymore. Okay, here is Ellie again to tell you where the link to the video acknowledgement form is this week. Stand by.
You can look at that website, it would take you an age. But my advice is to look for my little sister at the bottom of the page.